Listen to that dead silence.
A dead silence.
The
Welcome
dead
to
silence.
Dem Boys. This is Super. I'm here with the one, the only, DC Bake, the number one rapper in the entire world. Better watch out, Mr. Stew Your Girl.
Representing North Kakalaki, your grandma. Hide your children, hide your wife, hide them all because I'm coming for them in the middle of the night.
Hey
Oh.
yo,
That's true. That's
it
very true.
is true.
Yo, we need to talk about gamer props. This is going to be a gamer issue since y'all motherfuckers love
Let's
that shit. But we have got to talk about issues going on in the gaming world, okay?
the
First off,
gaming
first
world.
off, I have to say I fucking love Fortnite, man. I've been playing the shit out of that game, and that's a
Hmm.
dope game, dude. Fortnite is the shit. If y'all haven't tried it and y'all are PlayStation users,
Or
I would
Xbox or
totally,
PC.
or Xbox PC. It's not as try hard as PUBG, but it's really fun.
He's referring to
You
the
know?
battle royale mode only. He's not
Yeah,
referring
just the
to.
battle royale mode, and it's a free game to download. Epic fucking pay us to say this shit. I see you paying other people. I mean, we already like the game,
I mean, I'm
so
gonna say this: if
come on,
if I
dude.
can place first on my third attempt, it's not that hard. So, y'all
Not,
get
I
in
mean,
on this.
well, at the same time though, like people are getting better at the game, so like it's definitely going to become a little bit more try hardy, but it's definitely fun. Like the building element
Hmm.
completely changes shit.
Yeah, it makes it pretty. I
Like
like when people try and go up in the sky and just chill there the whole game.
yeah, but you can't do that. Actually, people figured out now that if you take out one of their panels below,
Yeah, they all go.
you're fucked. Like I did that in a match the other day. I fucking fired a rocket right at the base, and it just went like a line of dominoes, and it was fucked.
Yo, I
You
hide
know.
in bushes the whole game. Facts. I will upload it on our YouTube.
You know what? I've seen people doing that actually,
I
hiding in bushes.
literally bush, run and gun, bush, run and gun. That's my
I've actually
strategy.
I have seen that. Yo, for real though, like we're gonna also do like today's gonna be a little bit of like gamer issues that we've had, you know?
Yeah.
So like our first topic is gonna be like what is the craziest shit you've done to fix your hardware or games?
Bruh, hardware, software fixes. I got one
Yeah.
for each, but you should start off.
Alright, for me,
Yeah.
my
Let's hear
Xbox
it.
360 fucked. Like it had the red ring of death a million times, but
Mhm.
it never fucking died. So just because of that, I kept my Xbox 360 like as like I respected it because it never fucking quit. It was like destined to quit, but it's almost like it had a soul and was like, I will not quit on you. And I have so many good memories attached to it. But
The
I had the red
Naruto
ring of
video
death,
games.
and oh my god, PlayStation 4 has given me so much problems. Like the amount of issues I've had with the PlayStation is just, and they fix the shit, but it takes them forever. Like I was a day one PlayStation buyer,
Mhm.
and it's especially PS4. I had so many issues with that shit. Like they would have issues with the friends list and all that blah blah blah. But if you reported it, they would fix it like a month later or something.
Right.
So like I gotta say, like report your issues if you have a PlayStation. But like that definitely fucking works. I mean, it's just retarded though how many issues I have with the PlayStation. But you know what? Actually, with earlier consoles, I never had issues. I very rarely. It's just like the latest issue, stuff. I think they've gotten more and more complex. So
Right. But I
you
guess
know,
what was your craziest fix for when that stuff had happened? When your Xbox 360 gave you issues or whatnot?
the thing is it never really did. Like that. I guess that was the amazing part is that it never really. It always had the red ring of death, but I could always just turn it off and turn it back on. But I did hear about a fix of where you could fucking like what's it called? You could wrap your thing in a blanket, like
The
wrap your
fuck?
Xbox in a blanket, and it
It's
would fucking fix it.
fabled. That is the fablest fable I've ever
that
heard.
hey,
Come at me
that
with that.
That's what I fucking heard. I don't know if it was true or not, but some dude said he wrapped it in a blanket, and he was probably trolling. But you never know.
As a troll is trolly troll. Dang.
True.
Shit. For my hardware, I mean, mine's semi game related. Um, Mine's more music related than anything, to be honest. So, when I was originally getting into music, I had I had a new setup, a new mic. I had you good there, Max? I had a new they're like a new what are they called? Phantom power unit. I had all this new stuff. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. It was my first time doing any of this. So I was learning. I wasn't where I am with the knowledge I have now. So I thought I had everything set up. Actually, I did have everything set up correctly. Everything was good. Everything was good to go. But it turns out that my computer I was using at the time just didn't have the processor required to export files, both media and video, at an acceptable rate. So something that should have taken maybe a minute and a half to export in full quality took roughly, 6 hours and 32 minutes, which is crazy if you think about it. So the craziest thing that I had done was one day I got really mad because it had rebooted and restarted. I ended up kicking the computer, and I guess there was an issue with the fan that was making it overheat and run slower, and I actually cut the time in half. So, so yeah, that's my story. It's my
Uh,
story about stories.
uh, you know what? Here's a big issue. All right, when people who don't play video games try to act like they do or act interested in games,
That is so annoying.
that that is an issue because it's like,
Hashtag gamer girls. Annoying as
oh
fuck.
god, it's like, dude, like, and I'm talking about scenarios like where someone will come in and you're playing a game and like badger you and you're like, fuck off. I like you don't even want to tell them like what's going on or anything, but also like people who, since gaming has really done like a fucking 960-degree fucking into the stratosphere, um it's just retarded like how many people are jumping on the fucking bandwagon, you know
Right. Well, I mean, it's not a
so
bad thing we're getting more people in the community. It's just
no, but
it's how some people, not address it, but how some people, yeah, like you said, it's a bandwagon thing. They're doing it because it's cool now, not because they like it.
yeah, I remember the whole what's it called, the geek thing. Remember back in like 2013
Mm-hmm.
where like geek shit became like in style, which I think that birthed the hipster movement, you know?
I could see that. I could definitely see
Think
that.
about it. I guarantee you that's because of the hipsters. I guarantee you, you know?
Or it caused the hipsters. Yeah, yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, here's another one, dude. Trying to be cool but and hate COD, but buying it anyways.
Every year.
Dude, that speaks in to the whole hype pre-order bullshit that we have to
Yo.
deal with. That is a
Uh,
severe issue,
that is
man.
a
That is
real
a
problem.
severe issue. Think about it. It's like,
This game sucks, but I'm gonna buy
that's
it
very
anyway.
true. That's very true. Like, I'm done. Like, me and my friend we were talking about last night. We're like, dude, we're fucking done. We had a guy who he loves Call of Duty, and like my friend, he kind of shits all over things sometimes. Like he does it to like a degree,
Mm-hmm.
not too much, but he definitely went in too far, I think.
We all know one of
But
those,
like,
yeah.
if you enjoy Call of Duty, that's fine. But it's like, dude, come on. Like, this shit has fucked you over so much. Like, even if there was a good Call of Duty game, like you're gonna get bored of it because there's so many other games that have like progressed and shit, like Battlefield 1, Rainbow Six Siege. Like if you're looking for that multiplayer experience, you could even go to Counter Strike.
Right.
Like Counter Strike hasn't changed, but it's like Call of Duty will never be what it once was. Like it's just it's done as far as that.
Right.
Now,
I agree with that, but it's a whole different thing to say that than but people also got to realize that it's cool to hate on things now. It's cool to hate on Call of Duty because it's having its issues. And I think that's a whole, sub branch of issues related to that topic, but that's a whole different story, but continue.
we'll see. My thing with COD is that they just burn me too much. I'm done with it. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of getting burned. I'm tired of having all these issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like fuck off. Leave me alone,
Well,
COD.
when they introduced
Leave
the
me
loot
alone.
crates, once they introduced the loot crates, I was like, eh. And then when they were like, here, pay this much for Modern Warfare, and then on top of it, now you can pay for DLC that should have been free for Modern Warfare. Then I was like, I'm done. This is it. It's GG.
Dude, think about it. Think about the amount of games that have come out, and we keep coming back to this microtransaction issue because it's such a huge issue
It's
in
so
gaming.
prevalent, though. You can't
It's
just
so
not
bad,
talk
and
about it.
it's just a part of like what's going to happen no matter what. You know, like we're never going to change it, but we're in a situation now where it's like it's so bad that I don't know what else. Like it's just gonna. I don't know like what the cap is gonna be. Like what is gonna be the defining moment where like the government steps in is like this is gambling. You know, like
Right.
there needs to be some type of regulation. Right now it's like a free for all. You know, it's bad. You know, I don't think we'll ever have like a gamer props episode where we don't fucking talk about like microtransactions because it's just deplorable. You know, like I mean, and think about this. Here's another issue. There are games, right, where you cannot skip cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like this is a thing that I think divides some gamers. It's like, do you like the cutscenes or would you rather play the entire game? You know, like some cutscenes are really valuable, but I was thinking like when I was playing Destiny 2's campaign, like when you actually play through that shit, like you're experiencing a lot of cutscenes, and
Mm-hmm.
it would be definitely be cool. Like there's one cutscene at the end. Spoiler alert. Spo- spoiler alert.
You've had your chance.
Yeah, spoiler alert. But for real, like everybody should play it by now. But anyways, like there's the part where you're going to like beat Gau's ass, and like y'all are like going back to save the traveler and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and like they have like Zavala and Ikora. You're all going at it, and like you're on your fucking like sparrows and shit, and it's like it's really cool. But I think it would have been super dope to like actually be in that scene, like for you were riding your ghost next to Zavala.
Exactly. There
Yeah,
was no
that would have
reason
been
not
really
to.
cool.
There was no
Yeah, that would have been really
reason
cool.
not to be able to do that. Zero reason.
Yeah, I mean, but like I love Destiny 2 story. That's probably the only thing I really like about Destiny anymore. It's like,
Right.
to be honest, like Destiny 2 was a huge disappointment for me.
It
It
should have
was a
been.
huge disappointment. We just came back from some interruptions, as per usual. This is the Dim Boys Ghetto Style Podcast. The realist, you know, it's the
Ghetto.
realist. The realist is Trillist is Trillist. This is not like one of those motherfuckers that have a studio. We're doing this shit from the bottom up. We started at the bottom, now we're here,
We're still
aka
here.
we're going to the
We
top.
still at the bottom.
We're still at the bottom, but we're clawing our way to the top.
By the
That's why
way, speaking of being
motherfuckers
at the
need to
bottom,
support us.
I want to give a big shout out. I should have said this a week ago for all y'all people, all 5,000 plays on our podcast. We had 5,000 people listen to what we've done so far. It's about a week or two ago. So I want to say thank you. We appreciate that. We also would love it and appreciate it if you followed us, liked us if you enjoy it, and comment. Like, we're all about discussion. So I think the comments for me is most important. You know, the interaction, the emails, the comments,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah. Well, see, unfortunately, a lot of people don't actually like comment. You know what I mean? Like a lot
Yeah.
of people don't actually, and this is just a thing on Podbean.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people just don't do it, which is fine. You know,
It
if you don't
is.
want to do it, that's cool.
But if
But
you guys got Facebook or Twitter, you can hit us up there
please
and get
do.
hold of
Please.
us.
That audience interaction is so important.
That's what we want. That's why we're here, you know, for that
Yeah,
discussion. So
yeah. I know. I know. I see. There's a few people that are like diehard fans. Like I see a few people. You know what I'm saying?
same.
I
So
see. I see you.
we
I see you.
appreciate you.
I
But
see
as
you.
far
Just
as the cutscenes
come in.
go, I'm cool with skippable cutscenes. However, for certain games, and I'm probably gonna get some flack for this, on your first playthrough or first character, I feel like you should be forced to watch them. Certain games. So
Yeah.
RPGs like let's say Persona or RPGs like Final Fantasy, maybe not forced to
Fallout.
watch them, but like there should be a huge like incentive or something. Like you can get like a bronze trophy or some bullshit or whatever. Because like I don't. I just feel like in RPGs it's very important because that's the whole point of playing the game. Obviously, you got your grind, you got your customization and da 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 and interactions, but like you're there for the story, you're there for the cutscenes, the text, all that stuff. Now, if it's like a first-person shooting game like Destiny, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Titanfall, anything, literally anything, press F to pay respects and skip. Like go, nobody cares. Like I wish there was a
Wow.
way. I don't know. Like that's just me though. That's again probably get flagged for that, but that's just how I feel.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you straight up. Like Fallout 4 was a big game for me. I played
Mhm.
Fallout, and Fallout really showed me that it was RPG. Like some people hated the fact that it was such a running gunner, but I loved it because I'm a shooter at heart. So for me, Fallout was amazing. Like I just love Fallout. I didn't really care for the dialogue, but there are people who like love RPG games that absolutely live for that shit. Like it's a
Mhm.
whole genre and it's a whole style of play that like I really don't give a fuck about. And that's probably one of the reasons why I love Fallout cuz like I'm just down to shoot 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 and like meet cool people and stuff, you know? Like if I really cared about a character, I would check it out, but if I didn't really give a fuck about a character, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Like I don't give a shit, you know? But if you love RPGs and really want to delve deep, like oh my god, like yeah, I understand that. Like The Witcher is one of those games that I was gonna
Yes.
buy, but I was like, dude, I hate dialogue. And this is all dialogue, you know, like I just don't want that. But if you really want that RPG element, then those are the games for you, you know? They're
Exactly.
not for me. They're just not. That's just that's something you realize like every gamer, every person has their own specific shit that they like, you know? And that's fine. That's what makes like gaming so amazing is like we live in an era where like there's a game for everything. Like look at that Cuphead game that came out. Like from what I've seen, like people talk about how hard it is and but how rewarding it is and like how it looks very cartoonish. Have you heard of Cuphead?
Oh yeah, it's literally Dark Souls but 2D platformer shooter.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
It is.
Like
It's
it really does
gorgeous.
look amazing. You know,
Mhm.
it's crazy. Speaking of RPG elements, what about like actually in the RPG where you have dilemmas in RPGs, right? Like
Mhm.
you can go the good path or you can go the bad path or you can go like the middle ground path. Those are generally like the arcs that you can go. But one of the issues that I face is like wanting to be evil, but feeling so bad about being evil.
Well, that's the
You know
whole
what I
point.
mean?
Yeah, that's
Like
that's the
I know
whole.
that's the point, but it's like, damn, you know, like that's how you know it's a good RPG. It's like you're actually dealing with those issues and like you know, like, damn, I don't know if I should do this. I don't want to kill this character.
Or like
You
they
know?
do it so well that you're not entirely sure which one is the good choice.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
there's
true.
those games where you're just kind of like, for example, I mean, Spec Ops: The Line was not an RPG game by any stretch of the imagination, but it had you thinking you were doing the right thing all along, and then come to find out, like you weren't. You just
Yeah.
weren't. You know, and it's kind of like I feel like that gray morality, that gray choice line that you don't normally get in most games is kind of a breath of fresh air in a way because it kind of makes you have an existential crisis or question what you're doing. And that's kind of like that's what I love about video games. They're not so cut and dry anymore. It's not like, oh, Mario's the good guy, go stomp on Bowser and save the princess because Bowser's a piece of shit. Like you don't get that as much anymore. Games grew up when we did. Games have been growing up as we've been growing up, you know. And we no longer have a cut and dry, thing. Even Pokemon. Oh my god, starting Pokemon Black and White, you start questioning like, yo, is it cool to use these guys for whatever we want and put them in Pokeballs? I mean, it's not the whole game they're doing that, but they touch on some dark shit now. Like they really do. They hit you with some stuff that like if you're older, you're like, wait, what? you know?
When also because you're older, like you're more desensitized and shit, you know. So it's like
Well, you are. So when you get hit with
some
something like that, you're like, "Fuck, bless you."
yeah, that's why it's like super fucking dope when like those experiences happen, you know, because it's like nothing really surprises you anymore at like a certain age, you know. But when
Hmm.
you do get like that good fucking feeling, like people are willing to pay for that shit as adults,
Oh yeah.
you know. Like you're definitely willing to pay like however much money for that dope ass experience or something.
Oh, hands down, every day of the week. I'm not even gonna question that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just true. It's the way it is, you know. I mean, here's another thing, right? And like in multiplayer games, you have issues where, all right, so I play a lot of first person shooters. So one of my biggest issues, and that I've actually curtailed doing quite a lot, is checking the scoreboard. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
do.
I stopped doing that because that was such an issue. Like, I would be like, ah, what's my score? Ah, fuck. And it's like that stress shit, you know? Now I don't even
Yes.
give a fuck, dude. But like I play Rainbow Six Siege and occasionally you can check it, but oh my god. Like, guides have made me so much better at that game. Like, I go into like casual games now and like I know like to aim down sights and like peek corners and shit. And I was like, I fuck people up now. It's so good to like actually be careful and drone and look out and see where people are.
I think that's one of the
Like,
big appeals to Rainbow Six Siege is it's not like most first-person shooters on the market right now. You gotta be careful. You gotta be smart. You can't just be
yeah,
like, "Oh,
you really
hey,
do.
I'm
And like
here."
your brain is trained to like go in there and shoot them up. But if you take your time and like drone areas out, and if your drone doesn't get seen, right, and someone's waiting for you, you can position your shit. If you got a character with a grenade, you can like just fuck. You get a couple kills easy, you know. But then you have that issue of like if they know you, it's all about flanking shit, you know. Like there's little tips that like really fucking help you out, you know, like
Oh
really
yeah,
truly make it better for you, you know.
I do know.
That's just like one of those issues that I fucking love, you know. I mean, here, think about this, like how many times, like if you're in a good RPG, you lose track of time, which is like the best feeling. You
Hmm.
know, like Fallout 4 immersed me so much that like I just lived in that universe. You know, like that's a great game.
It
They can
is. I love
immerse
it when
you.
that happens. You just kind of
Oh,
become
it's
the
so
character.
good. It's so good. Like it almost feels like that's where like I think virtual reality would excel. Is like if you could get that experience in a virtual reality setting and you actually like almost fool yourself, you know, into like being in that reality, like people would pay for that. Like that people would pay buckets of money for that experience. You know, to
Buckets.
just be like totally immersed in like an amazing world. Like I think it's probably like realistically 10 or 15 years off, but that's crazy. You know, think about this, dude. I saw fucking Google posted like I was looking through like tech articles today.
Hmm.
Google came out with these earbuds that can real time translate. Essentially a universal translator,
Really?
right? Yeah. It's like so basically what happens is you put your earphones in and like say you're speaking to someone who's speaking Swedish, right? This bitch is speaking Swedish, right? So she speaks into the headphones and it real time translates what she's saying, right? And then it that translation translates to English for you, and then you speak, and it translates your shit to Swedish, so she hears that.
That's
How crazy is
crazy.
that, dude? Like, and that type of tech is only gonna get better. Like in 5 years from now, there's gonna be you're gonna be like, all right, we're gonna go to China, so make sure we don't fucking forget our translate shit, like our universal translator, so
Yeah.
we can fucking like talk to people.
Don't
That is the
forget the
craziest.
glasses.
Dude, that is the craziest shit. Like that's the best part about living now. Like that's the best part is like having a universal translator. Like that's just so sci-fi, you know?
It is. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's real now. It's just so weird. Like that's the only thing that pisses me off about like having a finite lifespan. It's like just the cool shit you miss out on. It's like, oh, that's so dope.
Wait, electricity? What? What do you? What? What? You could have lights on during the night?
You know,
What?
what do
It's
you
a
think about it?
fire in a circle.
Think about how like how that's gonna change our world. Like we already have like the internet has drastically changed our world, but think about how much better it's going to be once people can communicate. Like communication is key to innovation. So like if we have
Mm-hmm.
everybody communicating, like if we stop seeing ourselves as nations and more as like a collective human experience, the types of shit we're gonna be able to come up with is amazing. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're not even at like the scientific like golden age, but once we get there, we're gonna be like some Destiny shit coming out with like faster than light travel. Like I don't see why not. Like we're already coming up with shit like that. Like it's gonna take 100 years, a couple 100 years, but we'll have faster than light travel. I guarantee it. Maybe less than that. Like people don't know. Like technology is advancing at such a rapid rate. We don't know how fast it's gonna go. It could go even faster than that.
That's true. I mean, that's a fair point to make. Because we just assume that the acceleration, like the technology curve is going to stay the way it is, but it might accelerate.
It could be even more exponential. Or it could go less. It could go less. You never
Exactly.
know. You never know. Think about this. All right, guys. Here's another issue. Everybody buys digital games now. But
Mm-hmm.
have you ever experienced a time where you look at your games and you just don't have anything to play?
No.
Come on, like you've never like looked and you're like, I don't want to, I don't know what to play.
Oh, yeah, all the time. I
Yeah.
thought you meant like literally nothing. Like you look at your shelf and
No,
there's
no, no.
no
Like there's a
games.
million things to play, but you're like, I don't know what to play. Like it happens with TV too. Like
You're like, wait,
I
I
don't know
want to
what to watch
play
on
this, but I
TV.
also want to play this, but I really don't want to play this because of this.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Rainbow Six Siege has been one of those games. Fortnite for me and Rainbow have been one of the games that like I've been gravitating towards.
Yeah, well, I
So
mean, I feel like humans are like that. We naturally have something that we find comforting, even if it changes from time to time, even if that cycles. So I think that's why it makes sense in video games to have like your go-to set or go-to game list, even if it changes over time, because that's just how people are. You know, for like me, for the longest time, one of my games was Overwatch and another was Pokemon. Like any of the, mainstream, mainline, Pokemon games. Now I don't really have a go-to game anymore, which is kind of weird if I think about it. But I also don't have the same amount of time as I used to. So I feel like now that I'm not working as much at my restaurant job, I'll probably start picking up another game more often. Like I just got a lot of my games updated on my PC, picked up Pokken Tournament DX, Pokken Tournament, however you say it. So I'm probably gonna start running that as a mainline game. And for a fact, once a Switch game comes out, a Smash game for Switch comes out, that's gonna be a main game for me.
yeah, for
That's
some
just
reason you're lagging.
I'm lagging,
Yeah,
boy.
I don't know why. If I'm gonna turn off my PlayStation, so it's not like actually fucking affecting anything.
That's
But I
okay.
agree with what you're saying.
At
Like
least for the viewers, it'll be
okay,
fine.
well that's good. All right, but yeah, yo, here's another issue: changing the disc in your PlayStation or your fucking computer.
Why is that an
That is an
issue?
issue. No, because you don't want to get up off the couch or something. You know,
See, this is why I make sure I put in a
lazy.
game that's like a neutral for me because I feel bad when I have to ask my wife to do that. She'll be like, "Babe, can you switch the game for me? Because I'm just a lazy sack of shit, and I already knew that." Or like, "Can you change my controllers for me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to play PS4. I want to play my Xbox." She'd be like, "Yeah, sure." No, she doesn't say it like that. She's always like, "Yeah, baby, I got it for you," and I'm like, "I'm a worthless piece of fucking shit."
Mm, 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 mm,
I
mm,
just realized I
mm,
have no idea how to
mm, mm.
go prone.
All right. Yo, you know what? My grandmother used to do that shit. It would annoy the fuck out of me. She would like be like, can you get me some of this, some of that?" Like we would go out to eat, be like, "Can you get me some honey or some other shit like that?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck. You're annoying as shit." And I never said that to her, but she's cool as fuck now. Like she gives us money and shit, and she's really dope. But that was one of those issues where it's like, dude, just get your own shit. Like there is a certain threshold, that people are willing to take, but one that's just not one of them. It's like, come on, dude. Like I know you're. It's like, can you go give me this? And like, yeah, of course you're young. When you're young, you're like, yeah, I'll get that for you.
You're like,
But
no, grandma,
eventually,
get your own split pea soup.
Get your own shit, you old bitch.
Wow.
That's exactly what I said.
You
I
rude
was
as
like, you old
fuck.
bitch.
You rude as fuck. I rude as fuck.
Yeah. So what you're saying is like the people listening, like even if you're lagging, they won't hear it.
Exactly, because I'm recording. Lesson time for all of you listening. So, with the setup I have now, you guys, everything is actually recorded on my end. So, however Chandler sounds to you guys is actually how he sounds to me. How I sound to you is actually how my computer recognizes my voice and takes it in based on my mic, not how it sounds over the network. Yeah. So
Okay, so
basically DC Bake is
uh,
considered desktop audio, and anything else you hear there, and then anything you hear from my mouth is considered mic audio. Science,
that's insane, man.
engineering.
Think about that shit. Think about that. Like that's why like probably you have better audio quality is because you're recording directly, you know?
That
And I'm
could be
recording on
part
Skype.
of it, but I think a big part of it is just your setup in general, because you sound a
Oh,
hundred times better than you do
I know.
on PlayStation, and on top of that, I
That's,
sound
that's so
exactly
much.
the same when I hear my voice over like online related recordings.
Yeah, but don't you have your shit set up like your shit set up through PlayStation, like so you can record?
My no, not currently. I don't have this mic or computer
Dude,
set up.
that's my ultimate goal is like to have my whole setup so I have like my actual nice fucking mic. Oh, dude, I would love that because that means like when you go into a party chat, like your mic is immediately
Right.
gonna be superior, and you could have, dude, you could change your audio and shit and fuck with people.
Mhm.
That would be so fun to
Well, I
fuck with
mean,
people.
what would happen is for me, like, cause once my setup's good, my laptop will be the hub for everything. My mic will be plugged into it. I can push a button. I'll have one of the HDMI switchers, so I'll have my Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, laptop, and all these things hooked up to the switcher. I press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. It adjusts to the corresponding system, and then that's what's showing up on my laptop and on my monitor and or TV, and then that's what I'm playing at that given point in time. But if I press the other button, the recording will automatically switch to the other device because that's what's on the screen now. So essentially, it's less of a hey, let's change systems and setups, and hey, let's press a button. We're going to be seamlessly recording the entire time. Just now, which
Hmm.
system are we actually recording on?
Yo, you know what's fucking crazy as shit, dude? One of my friends is a game developer. Like I live in Greenville, North Carolina, and we had this local game studio that they create like games for slot machines and shit. And I messaged him today and I was like, "Hey, can we do an interview with you?"
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, "I want to do like an interview in a month." But I messaged him and I'm hoping I can get him on today, but dude, like I really want to actually get him on because I've seen his work and shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
what I want to do is I'm probably going to post a link for y'all below to like his profile. He's got a profile of his work online. But we're going to do an interview with him and I think it's going to be good, dude. Like this is going to give y'all like if y'all love games, this is going to give you a look into the actual game making process cuz he's a like graphic designer. Like he designs the
Dope.
user interfaces and all that shit.
That's
Like if
exciting.
yeah, he really does. So I messaged him and like he's been a friend forever. But like, oh, dude, it's so fascinating. Like this little games company, dude. Like, I can't. I really want to do a whole expose on that shit. Like, because very few times do you actually hear from developers like on a personal basis. You know, like
I do.
people like developers just don't get their shit out there like that. You know,
Right,
that'll
it's
be
not a
really fucking
priority to
cool,
them. It's not
dude.
something
I'm
that's
excited about that. Think about how dope that would be to have an actual game developer on here to tell us like what goes into the games and shit. Like he took me like we went to Comic Con one year. It was last year. Went up to
mm-hmm.
Raleigh. It was like a super con, and holy fucking shit! Like he took me to his place afterwards. It's like a professional studio. Yeah, boy, he's not available today, but eventually, guys, we're gonna have it for you, and we're gonna have a link um, on the on Facebook or wherever John can put a link, or
I'll
we
put
can
it
put a
right in the
link to his
description.
profile.
Right in the
Yeah,
description.
we're gonna put a profile link to his like his portfolio so y'all can see what he does and shit. So it's gonna be dope. I'm excited about that.
I'm actually really excited to start all the interviews we got planned. I know you got the historian, you got the pilot, you got him. I got a guy that knows a ton about Pokemon I want to talk to. For you Magic the Gathering fans on here, I want to get a couple of my friends over that play a lot of that and are really, really good in our area. I got somebody that's I got two people I want to get on that talk about Black Lives Matter and some of the movements with that and institutionalized racism. And I have I have a couple of Smash geeks and Smash people that I know that I want to get in here as well. That I've spoken to. So I got a couple of people lined up as well. It should be great.
You know what we need to do, dude? Like, I'm thinking about this. We need. I already have a few people too set up. I don't know. Like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask everyone. I'm like, is there a way y'all can talk on Skype? You know what I mean?
Right.
And we could just do Skype interviews. You
It's
know?
super easy because they can do it on the go. They just use their Samsung or iPhone headphones and
I'm gonna
get them
message
to
them
hook
and
up.
be like, yo, if y'all are down, like, me and you need to set up times and shit so we can actually do
Ooh,
that. Like,
purple.
we're gonna have to actually have a date
Right.
and we'll set that shit up. You know?
And the cool
Like,
thing too is if it's after 2 o'clock, not on a Tuesday or a Saturday, I'm available for the most part. So I can be
yeah,
on it too because Skype can hold several people.
yeah, yeah. I'm just happy now I got my setup, so now like I can actually, you know, record shit and actually make it sound halfway decent. Because that was my
Same.
biggest concern, is like I don't want to like sound like shit, you know. Like it's
DC
okay if
Bake's
like
finally on that pro shit. What's
yeah,
up?
it's okay if you know they sound like kind of you know, but
Right, right.
mhm,
Man, I
yeah,
don't know, man. I'm excited. I feel like we're making big moves in the right direction. I'm glad you guys have been clearly enjoying this because a lot of you keep coming back to listen for more. So it means a lot to us. I feel like this is a good place to stop. I feel like it's a good place to end for the day. So we
you
appreciate
want
you.
to end? You want to
Yeah,
end?
yeah, yeah. We'll stop it right here. And
John's got to take a shit, guys.
you already know.
John's got to take a shit.
You already
That's why
know.
we got to end it.
But
John,
just make sure you follow
what?
us, check us out on social media, and like this. We've been
I
them
don't want to stop
boys.
talking.
We've been them
No,
boys.
no.